The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race officially concluded from Kansas Speedway, and we see Corey Heim come from the back of the field and win in a pretty crazy fuel mileage finish. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race from Kansas Speedway, the Kubota Tractor 200. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So before the green flag drop in today's race, Corey Heim would have to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, he had Ty Majeski lead the field from the inside with Connor Mosack on the outside, and we saw a really great battle for the first 3 or 4 laps between Ty Majeski and Christian Eckes. They battled side by side for the first 3 to 4 laps, and then eventually Christian Eckes got a fantastic run and was able to clear Ty Majeski for the race lead. Meanwhile, on the next lap, Taylor Gray and Lane Riggs had some pretty incredible saves coming down the front straightaway. Dawson also saved it as well, battling up front. Pretty crazy save. Eventually on lap number 8, Ty Majeski, he got a fantastic run on Christian Eckes once again going down the front straightaway and was able to take the race lead and eventually started pulling away. Meanwhile, Daniel Dye had to come down pit road multiple times, doing to have a tire going down and would come down pit road at least 2 or 3 times tonight. This would unfortunately take Daniel Dye out of contention at this point. There was a really good battle between Nick Sanchez and Christian Eckes for second, but the driver on the move was Corey Heim. He had the fastest truck in this race and started last and was moving up to the field quickly. But he didn't have enough time to catch him, and coming off the corner, Ty Majeski would win stage number 1 and also would clinch his spot into the round of 8. So then, all the lead lap cars would come down pit road, with Christian Eckes winning the race off of pit road, followed by Corey Heim and Ty Majeski. And then on the restart, you have Christian Eckes lead the field from the inside with Corey Heim on the outside. And we saw Corey Heim and Christian Eckes put on a great battle there for a little bit, battling side by side in pretty good blast, with eventually Corey Heim getting a run the next couple laps and eventually clearing for the race lead on lap 45. After Christian Eckes left for a few laps, Corey Heim was able to take the race lead. And then you got Lane Riggs, who was starting to make his charge up to the front. He moved up to second. But nobody really had anything for Corey Heim, as Corey Heim would come out the final corner and win stage number 2. And then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road, with Corey Heim winning the race off pit road, followed by Lane Riggs and Christian Eckes. Taylor Gray had a really bad pit stop and lost a ton of ground, and Brendan Butterbean Queen and Tyler Ankrum also got uncontrolled tire penalties, and Dawson Sutton got a penalty for too fast exiting. And then on the restart, you have Corey Heim lead the field from the inside, of Lane Riggs on the outside, and Corey Heim got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, he had some really good racing up front between Heim and Lane Riggs for a little bit, but then the first caution for incident came out lap 76 with a really bizarre incident. Going down the back straightaway, battling for 15th position, Matt Mills cut to the right, just had some weird incident, went up the straightaway and collected Corey Day. Corey Day had nowhere to go and slammed the outside wall really, really hard. Tough break for both drivers. That was a really bizarre and strange incident. I don't usually see that ever, so that was a really wild, bizarre incident. Luckily, both Corey Day and Matt Mills were okay. It's a shame both drivers are having pretty solid runs. So we saw a lot of strategy during this caution. Ty Majeski, Caden Honeycutt, Stuart Friesen, Taylor Gray, Ben Rose, Loss Allen, Matt Kraft, and Timmy Hill all came down pit road, while the rest leaders stayed out. And then a few laps later, Ben Rhodes, who had been struggling all night long, he would then come down pit road to top off for field, trying to see if he can make it to the end of the race, because a lot of guys that had not pitted, they were going to have to come down pit road. So then on the final restart, you had Corey Heim lead the field from the inside with Christian Eckes on the outside, and Corey Heim got a really great run and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, you had got a restart violation penalty for Matt Crafton. And then we saw some really good battling up front between Lane Riggs and Corey Heim for the next 4 or 5 laps, with Lane desperately doing everything he could to try to get the lead, but Corey Heim was still able to hold on. But then all the leaders started coming down pit road. Nick Sanchez would come first on lap 99. Then a few laps later, Tanner Gray came down pit road. Then the next laps, Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger came in. Then the next lap, Bailey Curry, Brett Holmes came in. Then the next lap, Connor Mosack, Tyler Ankrum, Dean Thompson, and Corey Heim came down pit road. And then the next lap, Chase Purdy, Christian Eckes, and Roger Kroof came down pit road, handing the lead to Ty Majeski. And then eventually in the next lap, Brendan Queen came down. So at this point, you've got some guys playing the field strategy. You got your guys like Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes. You've also got Dawson Sutton and Caden Honeycutt up there, all trying to make it on field. And you've got these guys like Corey Heim and Lane Riggs who are trying to charge their way up to the front, and they're making up a ton of ground. They're starting to make a lot of inroads, and they're starting to make a lot of passes late in this race. Eventually, Corey Heim moves up to second with about 10 laps to go, and is running Ty Majeski down about a second a lap. He would continue to cut down the lead to about 5 seconds with a few laps to go. And then coming to 2 laps to go, Ben Rhodes, who needed to basically win this race at this point, he unfortunately ran out of fuel. And coming to the white flag, Ty Majeski all of a sudden would run out of gas coming down the front straightaway. Corey Heim gets a really great run and pass him on the high side, taking the race lead. Pulled out a pretty big lead over everybody, and coming off the final corner, Corey Heim makes the last lap pass, puts up a dominant clinic, and picks up his 6th win of the 2024 season and sweep the races at Kansas Speedway. What an incredible finish. I really thought Ty Majeski was going to have this race locked up in the bag, and unfortunately just was not enough for him to get it done tonight for Ty Majeski, but Corey Heim had the fastest truck all night. He had to start at the rear and was already inside the top 5 by the end of stage number 1. That truck was set up for the nighttime. They were really, really good tonight. They had great pace and speed in practice. I knew Corey Heim was going to have a chance and opportunity. He was my pick coming into the weekend. A fantastic night for Corey. Congratulations to him on picking up his 6th win of the 2024 season. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results. I'll give my score and thoughts on tonight's race. So Corey Heim picks up the victory. Lane Race finishes second. 2 wins ago, 2 straight wins coming in the night, and finishes in second. He has been so impressive the last 6 or 7 weeks. I think he's finished in the top 5 the last 5 straight races in a row. He's been extremely on the money recently. He's got the pace and speed to contend. I'm telling you, going into next year, because he is going to be back in the 38 truck next year, he is going to be a championship contender. He's figured it out. He's been super, super impressive. Great night for Lane. He finishes in second. Christian Eckes finished third. Great night for Christian. Had a really good truck. Not as good as Lane or Corey, but still a really good night for Christian. He finishes in third. Good night for him. Kane Honeycutt finishes fourth. Solid night for him. Played the field strategy at the end of the race and gets a respectful top 5 finish. Really great night for Kane Honeycutt. A good bounce back night when he had a really good car last time we were here at Kansas. Dawson Sutton finishes fifth. In his first start in the 25 truck, qualified really well inside the top 5 and gets his first career top 5 in trucks. Super impressive night for him. Had a top 10 truck most of the early portion of the day. Had a really good run. Very impressive. It was clear the Ty Dillon was the problem behind the wheel of this team. Good night for Dawson. He finishes in 5th. Tanner Gray finished 6th. Really solid night for him after winning the ARCA race earlier today. One of his best runs of the year for sure. Ran top 10 a lot of the night. Good night for him. He finishes in 6th. Raj Crew finished 7th. They did not qualify well, and they were almost running outside the top 20 early, but they made a lot of adjustments on that truck, and that truck definitely got a lot better at the end. A really solid night for Roger. Locks his way in the next round. He finishes in 7th. Bailey Curry finished 8th. Pretty good night for him. One of his best runs of the year. Legit was in the top 5 near the end of the race. Lost some ground on the pit stop, unfortunately, but still a really good night for Bailey. He finishes 8th. Grant Enfinger finished 9th. They struggled early, but they made that truck definitely better, and he's also locked into the next round of the playoffs. Good night for Grant. He finishes in 9th, and Connor Mosack finished 10th. Quiet night for him, but a pretty good night for him at 7 to get a top 10. Good day for Connor Mosack. Chase Purdy finished 11th. Nick Sanchez finished 12th. Faded back, and I think he had a bad pit stop and lost a ton of ground. He finishes in 12th. Dean Thompson finished 13th. Tyler Anker finishes in 14th. Ty Majeski finished 15th. I thought he was going to have enough gas to get the victory. It was still a really solid night for Ty Majeski, though, even though he did not get the win. A pretty solid night. He's also advanced to the next round. Brett Owens finishes 16th. Connor Daly comes back after his bad start to the race. He finished 17th. Decent run for Connor tonight, all things considered, to get a top 20. Taylor Gray finishes 18th. He was really fast early. They had some issues. They got involved in that wreck with Corey Day and Matt Mills, but a decent recovery nonetheless. Nathan Burr finishes 19th. Brendan Butterby Queen finished 20th. Thought he run a lot better tonight. Ken Forchi finished 20th. Jake Garcia, another really disappointing run for him. Just been a disappointing year. I thought he would do a lot better than Haley Deegan. It's been a bad year for him overall. He finished 21st. Ben Rhodes finished 22nd. Unfortunately, with this finish, Ben Rhodes was eliminated from the playoffs. Not a good night for Ben Rhodes. They tried to field strategy, and I thought they were going to have a chance to get a good finish, but this truck was terrible. They qualified really well, so I thought maybe they were going to have a chance to contend. And tonight was a disaster. They ran outside the top 10 legitimately on speed, and they were only going to get a top 5 finish because of fuel. It's been a rough year for Ben. Unfortunately, he will not advance to the round of 8. Timmy Hill finished 23rd. Stuart Friesen finished 24th. Matt Crafton, after restart violation, finished 25th. Justin Mondyke finished 26th. Daniel Dye finished 27th. Tough break for Daniel Dye, unfortunately. He's also eliminated from the playoffs. I already talked about it. He had multiple tire issues and problems that take him out of contention. He's the second and last driver that unfortunately has been eliminated from the playoffs. Spencer Boyd finished 28th. Frankie Muniz finished 29th. Good to see him back on the racetrack. Lois Allen finishes 30th. Jennifer Jo Cobb finished 31st. Corey Day, after getting involved in a crash, he finished 32nd. Matt Mills finished 33rd. And finishing last in 34th place is Marco Andretti. So now we're talking about the race as a whole. I'll give my score and thoughts on tonight's race. Tonight's racing, I thought, was solid at points. Yes, Corey Heim put up a dominating clinic and he pulled out at times, but there was some really good racing up front for the lead, especially between Corey Heim and Layton Briggs. And I thought the first 10 to 11 laps were really, really exciting, and there was some good racing throughout the field especially. And then you take in the fuel mileage finish. I think the fuel mileage finish was really fun to watch. You didn't know if Ty Majeski was going to win or make it on gas or not. You really didn't know. So my score of tonight's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race, I'm going to give this race overall an 8 out of 10. Pretty solid race in my opinion. Had some good racing throughout the field. I thought tonight's race was pretty good and the fuel mileage finish was great. I'm giving tonight's race an 8 out of 10. So, that is going to be it for tonight's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race review from Kansas Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts below on tonight's race. Your thoughts on tonight's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate Corey Heim on winning the race. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we have reactions to NASCAR Cup Series qualifying for Kansas Speedway. We're also going to have the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review and a Shane Van Gisbergen video dropping as well. Then Sunday, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the Hollywood Casino 400 and the Cup Series race review for the race as well. And then on Monday, we'll have a NASCAR News video covering news over the course of the last couple days. Got a lot of great content dropping that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching tonight's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.